Hey everybody, it's Stephanie from the Learning Project. You guys, I'm so excited today. We have a special guest, Brianna from the Carl Maxey organization here in Spokane, Washington. So for those that are watching this segment, it is called Black Voices in Our Community. I have been doing a ton of different podcasts with individuals that live in the Spokane community, or they connect with the Black community in some way through mental health, different health organizations, different things like that. We are so excited to just start having this conversation because there was a article that went out by the Spokesman Review. It said about 40% of African American businesses closed. And really, this was disturbing to me. And I was just like, why is this? And I think one of the reasons why I'm finding as I'm doing these podcast series is that there's not enough visibility for individuals who live in the Spokane community, who are African American, who have businesses. They're losing out on opportunities for grants and all different kinds of things. So I want to bring some visibility to these different organizations, have some conversations about what we can do to create a community that is really connecting, supporting, and growing. We want our community to grow. So many communities were affected by COVID. Their businesses have closed down. So we want to make a difference in that area and make a change. So I want to welcome you, Brianna, to the Learning Project. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited about just sharing this conversation with you. So thank you for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule to be here.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me and the Carl Maxey Center here. And my camera's a little wonky because I have my dog in my lap.
Yes. So let me tell you, my dog, he usually sits in my lap every single time. I don't know what it is, but like they just love being a part of the conversation. They just want to know they're loved. So I totally get it. And sometimes I have my baby with me and I'll have her in her little pack. And so no judgment here at the Learning Project.
You gotta make it
family friendly and pet friendly. So you guys, I want to just dive into our conversation. So Brianna, tell me a little bit about your organization and what you guys are all about.
All right. So the Carl Maxey Center is an African American cultural center on 5th Avenue in Spokane, Washington. So our center currently is under remodel because we bought the building in 2019. The organization itself started in 2018. We did a few events at that building before I was even hired. And the board decided that it needed a facelift, basically. So Carl Maxey Center is a part of the 5th Avenue initiative. So that is to revitalize 5th Avenue and also do some rezoning so that people can have businesses on 5th Avenue instead of just residential homes, which has a big impact on the community down there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit about how it started. Sandy always does way better because she always is like, we started over barbecue. Mom's house, and it's a much cuter story when she tells it.
I love it. So tell us, because some people may not know who Sandy is. So tell us who Sandy is and how she's connected to the Carl Maxey Center.
Yeah, so Sandy is the executive director of the Carl Maxey Center. She's also the editor and publisher of the Black Lens News in Spokane. Yeah. Around, I want to say, at least 5 years. And Sandy has been here in the community way longer than that. I think her mom moved up here with her family, actually, as part of the military. And then they just kind of stayed. So.
Oh my gosh. That is so, you know what? That's everybody's story in Spokane. The Air Force literally brings you here and it's like a black hole and it just sucks you in and does not release you at all.
Right. Spokane is kind of that way itself, though. Anybody who's here, they try to get away, but then you just come right back. Whatever reason.
We're coming back. So you might as well do what's right. Do something right now. So oh my gosh. So I love that story that you just told about, the development of what you guys are trying to do. So tell us a little bit about who Carl Maxey is, because a lot of people are like, who's Carl Maxey if he's not the founder or whatever? How did that name come about? and tell me a little bit about that.
So I was not involved in the naming process, but I know that they named the center after Carl Maxey because he was an attorney in Spokane. I think he's the first Black attorney in Spokane.
Yes.
He went to Gonzaga and broke down those racial barriers. He has the only national title for Gonzaga in boxing.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were close. The other 1 year with basketball, they were real close, but then he still holds it. He still holds that title. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So for those that don't know, I've been like posting little blurbs in a bunch of different groups about this book called Black Spokane. And it is a book that was written based off of Spokane's history. And they talk a lot about Carl Maxey, and he was definitely a pioneer in our community. And I love reading this book. I'm not all the way done with it, but I'm just reading about his history and how he left a legacy. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, is make an impact and make a difference and a change in the community. So like when you think about the Spokane community, I know you guys are working a lot on the business side. I want to give her a shout out. Brianna is bomb, y'all. She does like everything. And they have been doing these round tables for Black businesses. They did is this your first one that you guys did on Saturday?
This is our second
one. Okay, the second one. So if you guys have not signed up for this, check it out. It gives you an opportunity to connect, collaborate, and learn. So Brianna, tell me a little bit about the Black Business Roundtable that you just did on Sunday, and like what was that all about, and what is your goal that you're hoping to accomplish with this program?
So the roundtables are really to keep a pulse on the community, for like one, to make sure that everybody is doing all right in their business.
Yeah.
And then we also want to make sure that there's a little bit of learning, or like community resources. So we had Ben from AHANA, or the Multi-Ethnic Business Association. He was there talking a little bit about the history of the businesses. And then he talked about some of the stuff that they offer. We had SNAP there, and they also talked about what they offer for small businesses. And then we also had actually UW was there, because they're doing workshops for businesses to do a certification. So it's just some more learning for businesses, which the Carl Center is a co-sponsor of. So anyone is interested in that, or worried about not being able to afford it, because it does start on a Friday, October 18th from noon to 3. And I know that's right during the like work hours. But if you want to attend, the Carl Maxey Center is willing to give you a stipend if you attend all of those workshops, because we want to make sure that our businesses can attend.
Oh my gosh. One more time. Do one more shout out with that. You guys, if you didn't just hear what she said, I need her to repeat that again, because that is huge. That is amazing. So one more time, give us a short blurb. So
we're going to give any small business or startup who wants to attend the workshops that you dub small. I call it small, but it's about $200 a workshop. And there's 6 workshops for small businesses. And that starts October 15th.
Boom. You guys, if you don't know, now you know. You can get plugged in, you can learn, you can grow as a business, as an individual. Because anybody that knows who runs a business, it can get very lonely, it can get frustrating, it can be overwhelming. And when you have so much of that, you just get defeated and you just give up. In your personal opinion, and just working with different businesses, what's the biggest struggle for Black businesses in Spokane?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Loaded, boom.
There's so many barriers that I come across like every day. One is different to each business, right? So like Right Way Beauty Supply, they've been around for, I want to say, at least 3 or 4 years. But she has a hard time getting distributors to give her a small amount of the product that she needs to hold on her shelf.
Wow.
There's just some, I don't want to, it's not racism, because it's just ethnic tension.
Yeah. Cultural differences. Yeah. That industry, I worked in beauty for a very long time, and the distributors, that is a slippery slope. Anybody who has been in there, sometimes you have somebody that doesn't speak English, will not speak English, will not give you the deals, will not give you the product. Like it's very, you have to know people and you have to know the industry. And that's a hard one.
So that's exactly what she's dealing with. And then there's some folks who are they just don't have the education behind what they've been trying to do. Like they've got a product or a good service. They're just lacking like how to do their bookkeeping or how to file taxes or things like that, which are like simple and a little easier to mitigate than what Shawnee is dealing with at Right Way Beauty Supply.
Right. But they're challenges. And that's the thing that I think one of the things that we really mess up as a community is that we're not sharing enough. What are those challenges and how do we overcome them? You know, if we're looking at each other as competition and not looking at how can we level each other up and help grow and develop each other's businesses and ideas and concepts, we really lose the richness of a community. You know, when I think about going to New Jersey, because that's where I lived for a long time, that's home for me. I love New Jersey. And, you know, one of the things that was really interesting is like when you go there, it just feels like a community. It feels very connected. You know, people are supporting one another. You know, startups are very common, and people are interested and curious, you know, and there is sometimes like, I don't know if there's like a lack of curiosity or a lack of bravery to start something that maybe has not been in our sector before. So, you know, I really am glad that you're having this conversation, talking about just the lack of education, the lack of opportunities, resources, sometimes depending on the industry that you're in. So what is like your number one or maybe your top 3 things that you suggest for a new business, especially Black businesses here in Spokane, to do so that they can be successful in the long term?
The first step, I think, is to be thorough and really think about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. A lot of startups that I run into just haven't quite got their footing and like how they're going to actually like make their dream come true. So one of the things you can do with that to help with that is to write a business plan, even if it's just write on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be formal or anything. And then take that business plan and reach out to those resources that are in the community.
Yes.
So the Carl Maxey Center is doing stuff with business plans and helping you write your business plan and doing a business assessment. But there are organizations that do a similar thing here. So if for whatever reason, you can't get to me, there SNAP does it, AHANA does it. Lots of the small little business associations have similar programs. But I will say that ours is Black focused. So we make sure that everyone we serve is Black and everyone who helps you is Black or at least an ally.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have all the services yet here in Spokane that we can offer as Black owned.
Absolutely. Can I just put a pin in that real quick? Because let me tell you, what you just said is exactly what we've been talking about a lot, which is peer support. There's many individuals that are looking to look for somebody that looks like them, understands what they're going through, and understands them as an individual. And they need somebody to walk alongside that mentorship, that partnership, and saying, I can help you get to where you want to go. And this is how you do it, you know? And we know through research, peer support is where it's at. That is where you actually succeed and grow, and you have more success. They see this in counseling with African American people, and the way our community works is very different. And I think that's the thing that we have to really wrap our heads around, which is we may not do things the way other people do them because it's not culturally embedded in what we do. So I absolutely want to just encourage you guys to listen to what Brianna is saying. Take that step. And even if you have like an idea and you're like, you know what, this year, 2021, I'm going to work on my business plan. 2022, I'm going to launch, but giving yourself those everyday steps and investing in yourself so that you can understand your business and your brand is crucial. So give us your next tip, Brianna. I had to say that real quick.
That was actually my next one, was to get a mentor who's in that industry. So if you're trying to start a restaurant here in Spokane, we actually do have a few Black-owned restaurants who've already been doing it.
Yes,
for
they
quite
have.
And we've got, I want to say, at least one of every industry. Now, they might be hard to find, but they're there.
Yes, yes.
So we've got folks in the fashion industry. Art Jacobs, he does like custom made scarves in Houston. Yep. And then we've got folks who do like promotions, who are promoters. Their name is like leaving the top of my head right now. But there's at least one. So they're out there. I really encourage you to at least ask around.
Yes.
And find, because you're right. We do things way differently, and trying to make what we do fit into that corporate structure.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. No, and it's discouraging because you know what? Sometimes you're like, I'm not good enough. I don't feel like I'm the person that should be doing this or can be doing this. It plays a lot on your psyche, especially when you're trying to develop something that isn't there or you're not sure how to get there. What's your last tip for us, Brianna?
Just I don't know, give it your best, I guess.
Yeah.
And really though, like give it the time and the nurturing that it needs.
Ooh, say that one more time say it for the people in the back. One more time.
Give it the time and nurturing that it needs. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a struggle, especially startups. Startups are like the hardest and most likely to fail.
For real.
Know your industry. So business, restaurants, they have a really high failure rate. Know that about what you're gonna do. It really just comes down to like patience, perseverance, persistence, all those P words. And just give it your all, give it the time and patience that it needs. It's probably not gonna happen overnight. Can't wait on those quick instant things. Are not real, really. Like they just
No. And you said something really, really important that people need to understand is that this thing takes time. Like that is probably the one thing I hate about businesses is the time frame, because you literally are like, oh my goodness, like when and where and how am I going to make this happen? And once you get one thing down, then there's like a whole nother Pandora's box that opens up. And then you're like, okay, now I've overcome this. Now I have another thing to overcome. And I think where you find more success is when you connect yourself to something or a center or an organization that can help mentor you and connect you with resources and people. One of the things that really caught my eye about the Carl Maxey Center is that you guys actually have a list of Black businesses, and you can register your Black business onto the Carl Maxey Center website. Can you tell us a little bit about that and like how people can get involved and connected?
Yeah, so really you just send me an email. Our email address is at the bottom of our webpage, along with our phone number. I do vet all the businesses before they end up on that website.
Yes, so she does. She had to do mine, and mine was acting up. I was like, I do have a business license, Brianna, I swear.
You found it.
I do.
So, I mean, it can be a challenge in that regard, because like some folks I'm like, I don't see on there. What do you mean? But all those businesses, you just let me know you want to be on there, and then I'll get you on there. I'll ask you a couple questions. Most of the stuff on that list, you don't really have to do anything as long as you have a social media page. I just can ask you for permission to grab it off of there, and then we put it up. I do put addresses on there if the owner wants that. So some have like their home address and are like, no, I don't think my address needs to be on there.
Yeah. Man, I love it. And the thing that I think is really great too, it's a way for us to be able to connect with businesses that have been really like struggling, and really support them, especially like during certain months and weeks, they have Black business support. This is a great way to get connected with those businesses out there. And so I really encourage you guys just to take that chance and that step to meet with Brianna, connect with them, and develop something. And if you already have something developed, get connected with the center, support your community, so that you can see it grow and develop and blossom. We talk a lot about how when you go somewhere, the culture or the community is way better than Spokane or whatever. And in some aspects, I think it definitely is, but I think it's because people have put in the work, they have taken the time to say, you know what, let's actually create something, let's collaborate, let's make something grow, let's support. Those are the ways that you grow the local community and you build and help create, but we've got to be more active in our community to make something happen. Brianna, this has been a really good podcast where we're talking about the Carl Maxey Center and understanding what they are doing and how they're doing it. So what are some of the upcoming focuses that you guys have, that you want people to be aware of and know more about?
So we've been doing rental assistance for the last couple months. We're getting another round of funding, and we're going to be able to do more rental assistance and more assistance.
So more rental assistance and what else?
Mortgage assistance.
Really? Okay. Tell me a little bit about this and how does it work?
So you go onto our website under the tab Utilities and Rental Assistance. Which our website is carlmaxeycenter.org.
Yes, don't worry, it'll be down below.
And you fill out the form that's on there. It gets sent over to us, and then we go through it and we send you some more documents. So you do have to like answer your phone, check your email.
Yes, please. Clean that inbox out, Miss.
Right.
10,525.99.
I got a lot of emails in my inbox too, but
I have a zero method. I cannot have a full inbox. I will lose it. I feel like my whole life is just wrapped up in those. So I have to like clear everything out. I cannot handle it.
I get to do those, like decluttering your inbox.
Yeah.
But the program itself, again, we're an African American Cultural Center, so that's who we're focusing on. Yeah. I believe Sandy said that 70% of the individuals we were able to help with this past funding have been people of color. So if you are not a person of color, or if you don't live with someone who is a person of color, so like if you have kids that are of color, we want them to. Yeah. So that's who we're focusing on, is people of color, particularly the African American community. But there are other resources in the community for other folks.
Absolutely.
And then one of the requirements is that you have a median income below 80% of the area median income. So sorry, let me say that again. Your income is 80% below the area median income. Okay. And everybody I've talked to meets that at a minimum. So if you think you might need it, or you're like, no, I probably won't qualify, you probably do. Unless you're making 65 grand a year, you qualify.
This is so good to know, because so many people are struggling right now and they're really having a difficult time, just making ends meet because, of all of this stuff that COVID has brought about, and then inflation and all kinds of craziness that's happening. And so you guys, please don't lose sight of that resource. All of this information will be listed down below. through this podcast, so you can actually go to their link and check them out and look at different resources that they have. So you guys are focused on rental assistance, businesses. What else are you guys focused on?
So we actually have a student tech fund. So when COVID hit, we found that some students were slipping through the cracks and weren't able to get a laptop or headphones or what.
Wow.
So especially at the charter schools is where I saw a lot of that happening. So we were actually able to partner with another local organization and give families hotspots during that time. And then we provided laptops, printers, headphones, USB drives, all sorts of the little hardware that you need to be able to be successful during distance learning. Yeah. So we transferred that fund. I'm reaching out to families that we've already helped to see kind of what they need this year, since it's back in person for some folks who've chosen that and still online. Just to kind of see what they need now. Yeah. After we finish up with those families to see what they need this year, we're going to roll the funds over to whatever families point us in that direction.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I didn't even know you guys were doing that. So you guys have a lot of different focuses that you are putting together. Is there any other focus you want to shout out by chance?
We do health initiatives too. So we've also been doing COVID vaccination clinics, and recently we started doing just like pop-up clinics. Love it. So we do a lot of stuff with COVID lately. We also do a bunch of different stuff. We work a lot with the colleges to help bring up those students so that they can get a better understanding of, the next steps they're going to take after college. Our mission is very, very broad, and we just want to make sure that we're focusing on the African American community, whatever it is that we're doing.
I love it. I love it. Oh man, you guys, this has been like a plethora of resources, conversations about the Spokane community. And if you don't know, now you know, okay? I just want to say that much. So Brianna, thank you so much for stopping by and just giving me a little bit of your time and giving this time for us to learn about the Carl Maxey Center. What's the one last thing that you want people to remember about the Carl Maxey Center and why it's so important to the Spokane community?
Our Facebook handle is Carl Maxey Center, Facebook/Carl Maxey Center. So like us on Facebook, you'll get a lot of updates about what's going on. The Carl Maxey Center is important for Spokane because I think it will keep us here, honestly. A lot of folks that I talk to always say that they're going to leave. And then they still come back, but then they're still like, it's still not, it's still not how we want it to be. So the Carl Maxey Center is actually looking to bring back that culture and keep it here in Spokane. Yes. So that's, I think, the biggest takeaway is that we're here to bring Spokane back to how it used to be when you could walk down the street on Fifth Avenue and you knew all your neighbors.
Love it. I love it. And that's exactly what that book was talking about. Like literally Black people would move here and literally people would just surround them with love and kindness and connection and family and just that community that's really needed. And I think that there's such a way that we can bring this back, but it's going to take some time for us to get to that point where we say, let's make this happen, let's connect, let's develop, and let's learn and let's grow together. So thank you so much for that last tidbit. You guys, if you didn't hear her shout out the Facebook page, don't worry, it will be down below. And then what is your website that people can go to as well, Brianna?
We've got it at carlmaxeycenter.org.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I have really enjoyed this conversation. If you know somebody that could really benefit from this conversation, please take that time to share this. And then also, if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and follow us so that you can get all the alerts on the next upcoming podcasts that are coming up. Brianna, thank you so much for coming by. I'm so excited that you were able to do this.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was good talking.
Yes. So for you guys that don't know, I've known Brianna for a while. Her little ones went to my center when I was a director, and I just loved her immediately. And I didn't even know our paths were going to cross again. And I called him hey, talking about called the Carl Maxey Center, and she picks up, and I'm like, I know his voice. And lo and behold, we already know each other. That's how small Spokane is. We connect real quick. Hi, this is Stephanie. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my podcast segment today. I don't know if you live in the Spokane, Washington area, but we are encouraging everyone that owns a Black-owned business, at least 50%, to register their businesses with the Carl Maxey organization. You do not want to miss this. Check out their page and definitely enroll your organization or business to stay connected with our local community.